There's this new study out. It came out a few months ago, but it's new to me, and from the London School of Economics, that found that the Reagan-Bush tax cuts, which have added about $18 trillion to our budget deficit, not only haven't caused, quote, job creators to create more jobs, but they've wiped us out. I mean, it just literally wiped us out economically and politically, and they're gutting the middle class. Robert Reich, however he says his name, Reich, yeah, there you go. The English pronunciation. Anyhow, he says, over at his blog, he says, since the start of the pandemic, now, that's like 14 months ago, right? Maybe 16 months ago now. Since the start of the pandemic, just 651 American billionaires have gained $1 trillion in wealth. That's enough to have for those 651 billionaires to mail a check to every American for $3,000. Put another way, that means that $3,000 came out of the pocket of every American. And I'm not talking every family. That would be more like, $7,000, $8,000 for every family. But this is $3,000 for literally every human being in America, and still be as rich as they were before the pandemic started. He goes on to say, yet at the same time, more than 20 million Americans are jobless, 8 million have fallen into poverty, 19 million are at risk of eviction, and 26 million are going hungry. So how did we get here? I mean, have the Republicans copped to this 40-year-long hustle? Well, this study, I mean, you've heard me talk about this before, that, back in the 1890s, this was called horse and sparrow economics. And, the theory being that if you overfeed horses on oats, horses representing rich people, oats representing money, if you overfeed the horses in oats, their manure will have more undigested oats, and the sparrows will have more food. And that produced the Panic of 1896. And then in the 1920s, in 1920, Warren Harding revived horse and sparrow economics and, brought it back. And we got this, he dropped the top tax bracket from 91% down to 25%. And the result was the Roaring 20s, when the rich got richer and working class people got so crushed during the Roaring 20s that there was this explosion of unionization efforts that led to actual murders of union officials by police all across the country. And then, of course, led directly to the crash of 1929. You would think somehow, after 4 economic crashes just since Reaganomics started. I mean, in 1987, we had the biggest stock market crash since 1929. This was, 8-9 months after Reagan's second or third big tax cut. You had the Bush Great Recession of 1992 that helped Bill Clinton get elected. You had the second Bush Great Recession of 2008, which helped Barack Obama get elected. And then you had the Trump Great Depression of 2020. And you'd think that, with 4 economic crashes since the introduction of Reaganomics in 1981, that America would have figured out this doesn't work. But no, we haven't figured it out. So these guys compiled 50 years of data over 18 countries. Our results show, the researchers write, that major tax cuts for the rich increased the top 1% of pre-tax national income in the years following the reform. The magnitude of the effect is sizable. On average, each major reform leads to a rise in top 1% share of national pre-tax income of 0.8 of a percentage point. So the rich got richer. All this money is transferred from the pockets of working people into the pockets of the morbidly rich. But did those job creators create jobs? Well, here's what the London School of Economics says. The results also show that economic performance, as measured by real GDP per capita and the unemployment rate, is not significantly affected by major tax cuts for the rich. The estimated effect for these variables are statistically indistinguishable from zero. Right. So what's the main result of Reaganomics? Well, the London School of Economics says, overall, our analysis finds strong evidence that cutting taxes on the rich increases income inequality, but has no effect on growth or unemployment. In fact, our results suggest that lower taxes on the rich lead to high earners bargaining more forcefully to increase their own compensation at the direct expense of those lower down the income distribution. So that's what we're finding happens. So how is this playing out in America? Well, last year, in 2020 in Arizona, this is just one example, just one state, Arizona. The voters of Arizona voted to increase taxes by 3.5% on people making over $250,000 a year. Raise taxes on the rich. This was designed to raise $940 million from those taxes that would go to fund the state's crisis-ridden public school system, an underfunded public school system. What did the Republicans in the Arizona legislature do this year? This is the year that the tax increase on rich people was supposed to go into effect in Arizona. Well, just a few months ago, they passed a law, a $1.9 billion. Now, keep in mind, Prop 208 was a $900 million increase in taxes. The Arizona Republicans passed a $1.9 billion tax cut that, according to the Prescott Valley News, quote, mainly benefits the wealthy to shield higher earning income taxpayers from the effects of the new 3.5% tax surcharge voters approved in November to boost education funding, end quote. In other words, they cut taxes more than the voters raised them. This is what happens when you have the Republican Party running politics and they are completely owned by, in the pocket of, a subsidiary of billionaire America. And until we get this money out of the body of our political system, these billionaire leeches are going to continue, at least the right-wing ones who are really pushing this stuff and controlling the Republican Party are going to continue to make it tough for Americans. I don't know how to say it in any other way. And this is why we need to kill the filibuster, pass the For the People Act, which will demand transparency for dark money groups at the very least. I mean, it's a small thing. And raise taxes back to where they were just 40 years ago, just the same tax rates we had before Reagan came into office, and we can put our economy back on track.
I mean, do we even need to do a commercial for the Steph store? I mean, the shirts are flying off the right. Look at this. Look at it. Get your face
Look at that.
Get your face up there. Look. We have them for Team Pfizer, Team J&J. We are all Team Vaccine here. We have amazing.
That's right.
And you can get it on everything. Right, Chris? Not just shirts.
Bath mats, shower curtains. You can get it on art, a clock. You can get
Duvet.
a selfie bomb on a clock.
We have Stephanie Miller swag. We have sexy liberal swag. And, of course, all the vaccine shirts. Get it now. StephanieMiller.com. Whee!